Sutra 62. Na tatta siddhau loka vyevharo heyaha kintu phalatyagastat sadhanam cha karyamev. Until one has attained devotion, one should not discard the good worldly activities, but devotion should be practiced renouncing the fruit of those activities. Here, Sage Narad advises the aspirant not to deliberately abandon the good worldly activities. The assumption that a devotee develops a cold heart and becomes a recluse because of his one-pointedness for the Lord is unfounded. When sacred love is realized, worldly and religious activities automatically fade away. One who only practices renouncing the fruits of his action carries out his duties in a neutral way, and he automatically becomes free from the worries of tension and loss. This type of devotee is mentioned in the following story. A spiritual master named Samarth Swami Sri Ram Das was travelling across a forest with his disciples. In the heat of the afternoon, they took shelter of a tree near a big well. A branch from one of the trees was hanging over the well. Sri Ram Das asked his disciple Amba Das if he could climb the tree and cut the branch in order to prevent the dry leaves from falling into the well and making the water dirty. All of the other disciples, who were audience to the conversation between the two, began to feel anxious because there was no supportive branch from which to cut the overlapping branch, and there was danger of falling into the well. The disciples tried to prevent Amba Das from carrying out the fatal instruction, but there was no use, because for Amba Das, his spiritual master's order was of the utmost importance. Just as he was about to proceed, his spiritual master said, "O fool, you will fall into the well if you cut the branch. When your blessings can save me from the ocean of illusion, then what to speak of this small well?" Amba Das replied. His spiritual master said, "If your faith is such, then continue." Amba Das started cutting, and eventually he fell into the well. All of the disciples watched in fear, but Sri Ram Das was sitting very peacefully chanting. They ran to the edge of the well to search for Amba Das, and to their astonishment, they saw the Lord rescuing Amba Das, and he emerged from the well without injury. Thus, one should not worry about the lack or loss of appreciation from others while practicing the path of devotion. Faith in the Lord is a very important aspect of devotion. Often, people who lack self-confidence and faith in their personal actions and goals walk away when others criticize them, for example in a work environment. A devotee is not affected in the same way, for he declares to the Lord, "I am yours." Becoming a servant of the Lord, the devotee does not leave him for the sake of his material interests. In the Advaita Siddhi, Madhusudan Saraswati wrote, "You can praise or criticize the author of this book. I have no feeling of being the author, so how does your praise or criticism concern me?" The work that a devotee performs, he does for the pleasure of Krishna, and he offers all his work, not to make others happy or to impress them, but to make his Lord happy.